Okay, so now we're coming to the three-centered arch. And this one is the most complicated one to set out. There's a lot of geometry in this. And just to start off with, the spring line or the span, I'm going to just identify as this point A and this point B. It's just that as we go through, I'm going to letter up all the different procedures that we do, so that at the end we could write a list down of these procedures, just so that we can follow and hopefully understand it a little bit better than that. So from A and B, we now get point C, which is in the centre. Now, we haven't done this before, but it's a simple thing to do. We're going to bisect this line. So there's a lot of taking this pencil in and out of the compass during this, because I want to take it out every now and again to do a little bit of a drawing, and then I have to set it back in because, again, there is so many arcs and radiuses to draw in here. So anyway, so a very, very light line around here. Now, everything that you're doing in your drawings really want to be a faint line, and just because I'm doing this on camera, see, now I have to take this out, I have to do them a little bit heavier than what I would normally, because I want to be sure that the camera does pick up so that you can see what I'm doing. So now, between these two points of these arcs, we put our centre line through. Take the centre line up a little bit further because we're going to be using that. So this is point C, the centre. Okay, so from there we want to determine where the rise is going to be. So with that, we want to just work out, we're going to say we're going to have like a 450 rise. So 450 is going to be quite conveniently right where we did that. Now, the other thing we've got to remember is when we sit a brick on there, because we were saying before about making sure that this bed joint comes through courseable, we must remember though that when it sits on the arch centre, there's not going to be a bed joint, it's going to be dry on there. So we just need to be aware that instead of being 225, it's going to be 215 on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down 10mm, and I'm going to go 225 from there, and that will be the head of our arch. But what I want to do first is, this is the point of the introdos, so I'm going to draw a line between A, and we're going to call this D. So that's where we are on there. And obviously, again, this is like the underside of our arch. So the next thing we need to do is, once I get this back in again, this is all in and out and in and out. I want to do a radius from A to C and take it up to the top there. Up to there. Now that I am going to call E. Now again, back in here, from E to D, tighten this up again. We are going to strike an arc down from there, just a fraction more, yep. Very, very lightly. And this one we're going to call F. So now we have point F. Now what we want to do is this here, same as what we did in this bit, we want to bisect this line. So that means a compass in there and a compass in there, 2 arcs, and bring down our line. So here we go again. I should have 2 pencils really. One just to stay in here and one to do all the writing and things. So again, like we said when we did find point C, we want to go just a little bit further than halfway, and we go a little bit further, and I want to be doing very, very light arcs, and then here as well. And between those 2 points we're going to draw a line until it crosses the centre line. Unfortunately, it'll be okay, but it's just off my piece of paper. Right, so we have our centre point. Okay, so what we need to do now is where this point has just crossed here, we are now up to G. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to put our compass in at C to G and bring that round. I think this taking as much time as it is, hopefully is giving you time to absorb some of this. And I do think that you will probably need to watch this a few times. There are, in fact, another couple of ways of doing this. We're now up to H here. Like I say, there are another couple of ways of doing this. So there is H. Now, what we have here is from the centre point through these 2 points, that becomes the change of the curve, because we have a striking point down here, just off my drawing board there. That is one centre. This is the other centre, so that's a 2, and that's the third, hence 3-centred arch. So these are the points where we strike a compass round, which we now have to do again. You can really see why we could do with 2 pencils on this one. So from G to A, we can draw a line to that point, and we can also extend this out while we're in that striking point and bring that line to there. And then in H, we can do the same here, bring that to that point, and then close it down. Oops. Keep it in H to there. Now the tricky part is I'm going to have to try and keep this on a plastic drawing board, and hopefully I'll keep it there. Just going to do a double check that I'm happy. and then extend it out to the extra DOS, which could be a slight problem. So once I've drawn this, I'm happy with this in pencil. I will then do the same as what I did before, turn off, and then do it in pen, and then come back. So that is the very complicated three-centered arch Saturn out. And like I said, I'll just do some pen, and then I'll start radiating the voussoirs all the way round, and then hopefully colour it in, and this will be the last arch that we draw. So I'm just working out the gauge on the extra DOS again. Not very impressed with the outer arc, because I had to do it freehand because my compass will not open out to that radius, I'm afraid. So you can see here that that now works almost to the centre, which is not what I want, because I want to bond this arch. So as we said before, to bond an arch we have to have a brick centre of there. So I'm going to reduce it down a little bit, and hopefully it only has to be a small amount, because obviously every single time I swing the dividers round, that difference I've just made gets amplified, and that is fairly close. That is so close. That would be there. I'm only going to draw this side. I'm not going to draw that side because all the working out is shown there. So I still want to keep the working out visible. So I will just bond this arch round and colour this side. Just to give it some effect, I will probably just draw some of these cut voussoirs round here, probably half of them just on that bit. But just for now, we're doing this. And as I said to you before, this is the arch that I've probably done more than any of in recent years, and they are really so much fun to do. I really do enjoy doing these. So there we are, and again I'm just going to do a few around this side. Just want to double check to see, because again this technically should come round to where both of these merge, and you see that little alteration I made last time made the difference on there, so I just had to open it up a fraction, and we'll see if I've opened it up enough when we come around here, and we have. That worked lovely. So I'll mark these all in, and I'll colour up, and then we will just go through the procedure one more time, because again this is quite a complicated arch to do. Lovely that was. So these all radiate from the point down off the drawing board. So again on site, these ones are obviously a different cut to the first arc. And again I do apologise for the extra DOS on this side, because I was drawing it from above. This side wasn't too bad because I was drawing it from underneath, but when I was drawing it from above I couldn't get a natural curve on it. So what I should do is have a compass that opens up just that little bit extra, then I wouldn't have that problem. So once I've done this, this will be all of the arches in this series drawn out, and so that just means that I'll well, oops, going to here, aren't I? I will get to the farm and draw these all out on a piece of ply and build a few of them. I won't build this one because I already have some footage of this one on the ones that we did a few months ago, but there will be 4 or 5 arches that I will build. The semicircular again is already on YouTube, so I won't worry about doing that one again. So I'll come back in a second, and this will be done in pen and coloured up and bonded, and then we'll just quickly go through how we got to this shape. So, coloured up and pretty much completed now. So like we said, what we were going to do is just briefly go through how we came to this shape. So if you remember, we had A and B, we bisected that line by doing these arcs to get C, and then from C we worked out what the rise was going to be, and from the rise we got D, so we drew the line A to D, and then from that we then established from the arc that we drew from A to C onto the centre line, we got the E, and from D to E we put an arc down to F. This distance AF we then bisected, which gave us G, took us all the way down to the centre line, and then from C to G we did an arc to give us H. So from the centre line to G to H were our 3 striking points. So G is the striking point for this left hand curve, H is the mirror image on the right hand side, and the centre point where they both meet, that arc gives us the bulk of the arch itself. So that was the procedure that we had, and that completes the arches that we did for this little series, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave some comments, and I'll see you soon. So with the 3-centred arch, you can see the trammel set out on the board to give us the shape of the arch, and from that obviously we marked out dry the bricks, and then when we were happy with them we just transferred all the lines onto the board just so we could see what we were up against, and then this enabled us to then mark out all the templates and then get them all cut. So you can see we had 6 different templates for the bricks on this 3-centred arch, and there is the arch centre being constructed, and then you can see it's loosely bordered there, but we did take it to pieces and close border after this because we decided that it would be a lot easier for us to mark some pencil marks square across there for the joints or the brickwork to follow, just to make sure when you looked at the soffit that it was all running true and square and there was no creeping. And there you can see some of the voussoirs being cut into shape, and there they are being loaded up. You can see this one is number 3, and on this one here you can see this is a arch brick type number 6, and this is number 4. Always have a bucket of water when you've got porous bricks, and this is a very important point that we said before. When we sit a brick on the crown of the arch, we want to make sure that we come through courseable, so adjusted on the wedges there, but all has to be done before you get to that stage really, because you've got to make sure that all the gauge marks work right from the brickwork there. So all this is done on the drawing board. So we can see the arch centre in place here, and there's the striking point with the striking line on it, which is really important when you're building these ones, as we'll see in the next couple of pictures. So as they're coming around, you can see here is the screw, and we just pull a line through there like so. Just keep radiating these joints as they go through. You just pull that line through to make sure that they're following all the way through to that striking point. There's Harley doing his side. There's the arch over the arch centre, and the creepers now coming round. You can see we had 4 arches to do altogether. This is just one half of what we were doing. You notice that we always have a line coming through, not only to keep the beds right at the top, but also we have one that we move up and down as the arch is coming across, just to make sure that the face plane is keeping true. And you can see that one under construction again, and complete. And there we have it with like the creepers going through to the top. So that was like the 3-centered arch.